Hare Krishna everyone, Dandavat pranams, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna Mataji, pranams Mataji.
Pranam Mataji.
Pranams Mataji, pranams to everyone, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Dandavat pranams Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Mataji will join in 2 minutes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Dandavat
Mataji.
pranams.
Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranams Mataji. Krishna
Dandavat
Mataji.
pranam.
Pranams Mataji.
Dandavat pranam. Let's
Hare
start.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So where are you, Dhanyadameshwari Mataji?
7 and 8 Mataji today. 7 doesn't have purport actually.
ठीक है. Thank you. Let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th Canto, 10th chapter, verse 7 and 8. I'll read the 7 and then if anyone wants to read, you can raise your hand for the verse number 8. Shri Rishir Uvacha Dharmam Va Shroto Kamena Yuyam Me Pratyudharithaha Esha Va Priyam Atmanam Tyajantam Santyajami Aham. Translation by Shivapat ki jai. The great sage Dadichi said, just to hear from you about religious principles, I refused to offer my body at your request. Now, although my body is extremely dear to me, I must give it up for your better purposes, since I know that it will leave me today or tomorrow. Yo adhruvenatmanam natha na dharmam na yasha puman iheta bhuta dayaya sa sochaya sthavarer api. Madhumay Krishna Kant Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranams Mataji.
Arva
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yo adhruvena natha na dharmam na yashah puman iheta bhuta dayaya sa shocyah sthavairapi. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Usha Devati Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yo adrvena atmana nataha na dharmam na yasha puman iheta bhuta dayaya sa sochaya shratavya api. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Venkat Narasimha Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Ya dhruvenaatmana नाधान धर्मं न यशः पुमान् ईहेतभूतदयया सा सूच्या स्थावरैरपि हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Thank you, Krishna. Chitra Mohini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
माताजी प्रणाम माताजी। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यो ध्रुवेणात्मानानाथ न धर्मं न यशा पुमान् इहेत हरे कृष्ण माताजी। थैंक यू माताजी।
Thank you, Krishna. Usha Bhatt Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी प्रणाम माता जी। ओम
Pranam.
भगवते वासुदेवाय यो ध्रुवेणात्मना नाथ न धर्मं न यशः पुमान् ईहेत भूतदयया ससोच्य स्थावरैरपि। थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Madhusoni Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी।
Pranam.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यो अध्रुवेण आत्माना नाथा न धर्मं न यशः पुमान् इहेत भूतदयया सा सोच्या स्थावरे अपि। थैंक यू माताजी। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Pranandani Madhavi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी प्रणाम माता जी।
Tanmay
ओम
Pranam.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ये अध्रुवेण आत्माना नथना धर्मना यशः पुमान् एतभूतदयया सस्वच्य स्थावर अपि। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक यू माता जी।
Thank you. Shubha Rao Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
Tanmay Pranam.
यो अध्रुवेणात्मना नाधा न धर्मं न यशः पुमान् ईहेत भूतदयया सशोच्य स्थावरैरपि। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Vijay Kumari Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी प्रणाम माता जी। ओम
Tanmay.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यो त्रिवेणात्मना नाद न धर्मं न यशः पुमान् इहेत बुद्धदया सा योच्च स्थावरैरपि। थैंक यू माता जी।
Thank you. Repti Ratnangi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यो यो अत्रुवीणात्मना नाता न धर्मं न्याय च पुमान् इहेत भूतदयाय स सोचाय स्थावरैरपि। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you. Yaha, anyone who, adhruvena, impermanent, atmana, by the body, nathaha, O lords, na, not, dharmam, religious principles, na, not, yashaha, fame, puman, a person, iheta, endeavors for, bhuta, dayaya, by mercy for the living beings, saha, that person, sochyaha, pitiable, Sthavarehe by the immobile creatures, api even. Translation by His Divine Grace Sharva Pashabad ki jai. O demigods, one who has no compassion for humanity in its suffering and does not sacrifice his impermanent body for the higher causes of religious principles or eternal glory, is certainly pitied even by the immovable beings. Purport by His Divine Grace Sharva Pashabad ki jai. In this regard, a very exalted example was set by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Concerning Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, verse 34. Takta sudushtaya ja surepshita rajya lakshmim dharmishtha arya vachasat yad agat aranyam maya mrigam dayit Daita yepshitam anvadhavad vande mahapurushate charanarvindam. We offer our respectful obeisances onto the lotus feet of the Lord, upon whom one should always meditate. He left his household alive, leaving aside his eternal consort, whom even the denizens of heaven adore. He went into the forest to deliver the fallen souls who are put into illusion by material energy. To accept sannyas means to commit civil suicide. but sannyas is compulsory, at least for every Brahman, every first-class human being. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very young and beautiful wife and a very affectionate mother. Indeed, such affectionate dealings of his family members were so pleasing that even the demigods could not expect such happiness at home. Nevertheless, for the deliverance of all the fallen souls of the world, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas and left home when he was only 24 years old. He lived a very strict life as a sannyasi, refusing all bodily comforts. Similarly, his disciples, the 6 Goswamis, were ministers who held exalted positions in society. But they also left everything to join the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srinivas Acharya says, Tyaktya Turnamashesha Mandala Patishrinim Sadatuchavat Bhutva Dina Ganesha Kau Karunaya Kapin Kathashritau. These Goswamis left their very comfortable lives as ministers, zamindars, and learned scholars and joined Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement just to show mercy to the fallen souls of the world. Dina Ganesha Kau Karunaya, accepting very humble lives as mendicants, wearing no more than loin clothes and thorn quills, Kapina Kantha. They lived in Vrindavan and followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order to excavate Vrindavan's lost glories. Similarly, everyone else with a materially comfortable condition in this world should join the Krishna consciousness movement to elevate the fallen souls. The words Bhuta Dayaya, Maya Mrigam, Daitapshitam, and Dina Ganesha Kau Karunaya all convey the same sense. These are very significant words for those interested in elevating human society to a proper understanding of life. One should join the Krishna consciousness movement following the examples of such great personalities as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis, and before them the great sage Dadichi. Instead of wasting one's life for temporary bodily comforts, one should always be prepared to give up one's life for better causes. After all, the body will be destroyed. Therefore, one should sacrifice it for the glory of distributing religious principles throughout the world. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyan Anjan Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Hare Krishna. Swayam Rupa Gadabhayam Dadati Sapadantikam. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishbhanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pichayane Nirvishesha Shrivadi Paschatya Deshadayane. Text 7. The great sage Dadichi said, just to hear from you about religious principles, I refuse to offer my body at your request. Now, although my body is extremely dear to me, I must give it up for your better purposes, since I know that it will leave me today or tomorrow. O demigods, one who has no compassion for humanity in its suffering and does not sacrifice his impermanent body for the higher causes of religious principles or eternal glory, is certainly pitied, even by the immovable beings. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, which is called as the prescribed duties for the mankind, chapter number 10, which is called as the fight between
Between the
Battle
demigods.
between the demigods and Vritasura.
very nice, demigods and Ritsasura. Who is speaking these verses?
Now, Dadichi Rishi speak.
The Dichi Muni speaking these verses. Very nice. So the context is that Lord Vishnu has directed the demigods to go to the Dichi Muni, whose body has become very strong on account of chanting the Narayan Kavach and also performing austerities, and ask for his bones, and from the bone, along with Vishwakarma, manufacture a weapon made of thunderbolt, and Vritrasura will be killed with that thunderbolt weapon. So Indra and other demigods have approached the Dichi Muni and have put their plea in front of the Dichi Muni to give them his body. Basically, they're asking him to commit suicide so that they can make this weapon, so that they can defeat Vritrasura, so that they can continue to live. So the Dichi Muni, even though the man of principles, externally refused to give the body because he wanted Indra to speak the religious principles. And when Indra spoke about the religious principle as to how a saintly person must always try to give whatever they have for the benefit of others, he spoke like this. The Dichi Muni is now speaking that, okay, I just wanted you to speak about some religious principles. That is why I refused to give my body to you initially. Now, the body is very dear. He is saying that his body is very dear to me, but I must give it up for your higher principles. Okay, and he's saying that why I must give it up for your higher principle, because if I don't show this compassion for the suffering of others, and if I don't take up the difficulties, okay, if I don't take up the difficulties for the benefit of others, then my life is a waste, because my body, which is very dear to me, is going to leave me anyway. So such a life which is not being lived for the benefit of others is even pitied by the immovable beings. The immovable beings mean what? Like beings which cannot move, maybe like trees. We're talking about trees which cannot move. They also feel pity that such a life does a person lived completely in vain. So Prabhupada is appealing in the purport that somebody who is very comfortably situated in their material life must take to Krishna consciousness movement for the benefit of others. Because your body is now comfortably situated, now go and do something for others. And then he's giving example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the six Goswamis, that how they also took up this particular this particular purpose of spreading the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at the cost of taking up the sufferings in their own personal well-being. Apparently, it looks like a suffering, but it's not a suffering. If you're going to Krishna, how can you suffer? But apparently, to a common eye, it may look like, there's so much emphasis that the Lord had a wife which was an eternal consort, like Mother Sita or Lakshmi, and his mother was very affectionate, and even the demigods were amazed at the loving interactions going on in his household. But he gave it up and he took sannyas. Why? Because he was very fixed on his mission. The mission was more important than the household happiness. Okay, the question is, are we doing that? Is our mission more important to us than the internal happiness inside the house? I'm not saying that don't aim for that happiness. I'm not saying that, give it up in a knee-jerk reaction without giving a proper thought and consulting with other devotees and looking where we stand. But all I'm saying is, at least we can set a goal. You see, most of the human beings don't set a goal of actually moving ahead in their life beyond the domains of something called family. How many people do we know that have this goal that, okay, after a certain time, I need to extend myself, or even now, like, I need to extend myself far and wide, even at the cost of sacrificing maybe some more comforts in which I could have had, but I'm still going to do it. How many people are doing it? Hardly anyone, right? And then they are glorifying six Goswamis who were actually zamindars, landlords, ministers in the house of the Nawab Hussain Shah. But they gave it up. Taktyaturnamasesha Mandalapati. So Mandalapati, like they were prime ministers, right? Mandalapati. But then they gave it up. They gave it up as if it was nothing. And then what did they do? What did they do? Kopina Kanthashrito. They accepted loincloth and some torn clothes to cover their body. And what were they busy? What were they busy doing? They were busy doing excavating the writings. They were writing and then excavating the lost glories of Sri Vrindavan Dham for the generations to come and relish. They could have lived a comfortable life, right? So you see, looking at the pages of the scriptures, okay, looking at the pages of the scriptures which define us, which give us a definition of a glorious life versus ordinary life. Glorious life is, nowhere it is spoken that, okay, this king was very rich and their net worth was this much, and that's why they are and that's why they are um, and that's why they are they're very rich, and they're in the history or in the pages of the scriptures. We don't see, even in the common history pages in the secular world, we don't define somebody who's glorious by the amount of comfortable amenities they enjoyed in their lives when they were alive. Right? We define somebody who is glorious, even in the secular world, definitely in Srimad Bhagavatam, by the amount of sacrifices they did for someone else, by the cause that they live by the goal that they define in their life, right? Like why are we so proud of Prahlad Maharaj, for example? Yes, Prahlad Maharaj was the king, but so was Hiranyakashipu, so was Ravan. Like, what is the difference? Why are we so proud of Pandavas but not Ashwatthama? Okay, they can have a compatible amount of riches in their pocket. So, but what is the difference? That's what this verse is about. So, what is the difference? What is the difference? Hmm? What is the difference? Why are we not glorifying? Like Ravan was so rich that his whole kingdom was made of gold. But we don't really get so attracted to his net worth. But we get attracted to hearing about Jambavan or other devotees or Hanuman who have basically nothing. Why? Why do we say their life is more glorious?
Because they were centered around their own Indriya Trupti, so sense
Right.
sense enjoyments. And those who sacrificed their sense enjoyment for others' lives, others' benefit, they are glorified.
Very nice. You see, this is a very subtle difference that at the present moment, it may look like somebody with a lot of a house by the sea, a color TV, and an MP3 is very glorious. But the time factor actually has told us time and again that, and the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam are very loudly speaking as well, that which life is more meaningful. Which life is more meaningful. Now, it is by the curtain of illusion only that we don't want to accept it. We say, okay, might be for you, but not for me. This is not for me. Okay, but the scriptures are for everyone. It's not saying that it is an instruction specifically personally written to a particular person in a particular place and time. No, it's for everyone at all times, in all situations, all persons. So if we don't have a strength to accept it, then that's our weakness. But don't deny the fact, understand the fact that the fact is that if somebody is living a very meaningful life, that life is if they are taking up more and more challenges to spread Krishna consciousness. That is the definition of meaningful life in the eyes of the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And when somebody is going to leave their body, that's what is going to be protecting that particular living entity, not the amount of comforts one was able to purchase during their lifespan. I'm not saying that there is something wrong in the ability to purchase the comforts. I'm not saying that. Okay, without Krishna's mercy, no one will have anything. So if somebody has it, that's really good. That's the karma is like very good. We can see that. But all I'm saying is that that one must not get stuck with it. That's not the goal of life. You see, Prabhupada is writing that somebody who has material comforts must join this movement. Similarly, everyone else with a materially comfortable condition in this material world should join the Krishna consciousness movement to elevate the fallen souls. The word is should join, so it's non-negotiable. It's not perhaps can join, consider to join. It's not like this. Should join the Krishna consciousness movement to elevate the fallen souls. Okay, now because they have bodily comfort, so they don't have to work so hard and they're not living on everyday paycheck. So why not, use that little bit freed amount of time from the bodily engaged bodily maintenance that one might have now for spreading Krishna consciousness. And then one becomes more dear to Krishna. And that was done. And if one may doubt that, oh, on what accord will I do it? On what strength will I do it? Has anyone else done it? Then Prabhupada has given us the examples. Krishna himself in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did it. The six Goswami did it. The Dichi Muni is doing it. And they're all glorious, so glorious that they're actually coming out from the lotus mouth of Sukdev Goswami and is been re-recited by Sutta Goswami and is been actually translated by Acharyas and the essence is brought to us by Srila Prabhupada. So glorious. Okay, so there should not be a hesitation in thinking that, I can do Krishna consciousness, but there's so many other things in life that need to be taken care. So basically, if I look at my schedule, I don't have time. Because we forget the main thing, that time is Krishna's property. So if we actually want to serve Krishna, the time will help us. Because that's why the time is there, no? That's why the whole organization of the universe is there. So we all can actually individually and collectively become Krishna conscious. So these factors which are given by Krishna will not cheat us. Okay, the time will not cheat us. If we try to become Krishna conscious, we want to serve. No, they will not cheat us. Our lifespan will not cheat us. Our body will not cheat us. So what will cheat us? Our mind will cheat us. Our own desires will cheat us. They will find. My friend Chiti Shakti says that if somebody is giving you a verdict that this is what they're going to do in their life, let's say that they're not going to preach Krishna consciousness, then they have already, done it in their mind. Or if somebody is, on the other hand, is saying that at any cost, I am going to become Krishna conscious, let me see what challenges are there and I am going to give it a try. So then that person has also reasoned everything out in their mind. So everything is already done in the mind. Okay, we say some people are strong-minded. No, everybody is strong-minded because they have made up their mind whether I'm going to Krishna or I'm not going to Krishna. If I'm not going to Krishna, then I'll have to go to Krishna at some point. We'll just delay that travel back. But if I have taken up that, then everything else will fall in place. Actually, it falls in place. We think that will not fall in place, but we forget the main important thing is that everything is designed for Krishna's service, my lifespan. Such a complex human body have been given, have been placed in certain circumstances, given a set of senses and intelligence and mind, and use all that for one purpose, just for one purpose. But I am using it uselessly for innumerable purposes, and that's not going to make myself happy. That's definitely not going to give my life the essence or the glory that it deserves in service to Krishna. So we are very fortunate because we have been given the secret to become glorious. So many people struggle in so many lives, so many ways to be recognized and validated by the society, by the world, by becoming leader, by becoming great educationist, by becoming, great philanthropist, altruistic, whatever it may be, socialist, but we are going to lead a glorious life by becoming a great devotee. Okay, because a devotee is a combination of all these things. We are not going to, you know, go and water leaf and stems and fruit separate. We're going to water the root. And the root is Krishna. Not going to Krishna will never be a mistake. We can do so many mistakes in our lives, but this will never be a mistake. Something that will never under any circumstance be a mistake is if I walk towards Krishna with my head high and a determination in my heart. If I get some association, I will get association. It's not going to happen that, you know, you're walking to Krishna and Krishna is not going to send you the devotees. It's not going to happen because Krishna knows what we need. But for the sake of argument, if we say that, okay, you're not going to get any association, so will you still go? Yes. Do you have an example? Yes. Who did it? Prahlad Maharaj did it. He went alone. Okay, he was trying. He was trying at the cost of his at the cost of his own life, every minute to minute to minute, but his determination was never shaken. I think I'll stop here. It's a very encouraging verse that the Dichi Muni is such an exalted devotee. It is not easy to give up one's body, even if Krishna is saying it, you see. But the faith is so strong in this devotee that he's not doubting and he's not even asking for confirmation. You know, the faith is so strong because on the by the verdict of his austerities, he knows that Krishna has indeed given this instruction. Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections, complaints?